Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atmajyotis to today's Bhagavadgita Satsang. Let us continue our contemplation of the questions based on fourth chapter, and we are contemplating them in the light of the knowledge given by Sri Prabhuji in his Purna Yoga talks. So right now we are focusing on shlokas between 4.25 and 4.33. All of them deal with the topic of arpana, or what we are referring here as yagna, offering. So the main theme in these shlokas is about this arpana. So today let us contemplate between the shlokas 4.25 to 4.33, and we have framed these questions. So I am assuming that each one of you is going to be either speaking question by question, or you can combine these questions together and give a summarized viewpoint also. If you look at the questions, essentially it's all to do with offering. What is offering? And there are different kinds of offering that Sri Krishna lists. So there are some who offer material things. There are some who offer the through the pranayama, the breath. There are some who offer the into the fire of the knowledge. That's what Sri Krishna says. And how do they differ? Which is superior? And how does it lead to what is being referred as enlightenment or freedom? So these are the main questions that are appearing through these shlokas. So now, with this introduction, let us begin our contemplation. Krishnaji, would you like to begin?
Yeah.
Is there something that you would like to present or share, or will you just speak through this?
Uh, no, Vijay, I'll just contemplate on it.
Sure, sure.
So, yeah, does anyone offer material things to celestial God? What does it mean to offer senses, prana? So, celestial gods are the devatas, panchabhutas, those how to say live, who follows yajna and who are in sync with the consciousness in the entire this world or cosmos. So how do they get pleased by material offering? Is like, so once one is in sync and we offer as a yagnatva, like we usually we pray for it, and once that gets fulfilled we offer a material thing. That also is, though it is having some selfishness, but the in a way we are in a path towards a celestial gods. Like that means we are in sync with the universe. So that's why the whatever the offerings we one offers, it becomes in sync, since like they perform, because once we into like any commitments or any any commitment like to the god, like I want to become like this, so there will be set of procedure to be followed, being it like thinking good and doing good to others. For this, for example, practice this sadhana for one mandala and do only good things, think about only good things and offer something to others. So while worshipping these celestial gods, we are bound to follow what the celestial gods also does. That is Agnabhava. One one gets follow these things, and they are also into path of celestial gods, and as a fulfilled thing, like they offer these things to them. So that's the reason. So how do they get pleased? So since we are following the same and we are in the sync with the celestial god, so that's why they are getting pleased. why does anyone offer material things to celestial god? So these are uh, as part of their effort, a life has been put into this, and they are without that selfishness, they are giving it. So and only that they can be given, and at that point of jnana, person like whatever they have, they are giving or offering to others, or to others in the form of celestial gods. Like even though like we offer to the god, that's been apparent, or like in directly or indirectly also it has been given to, being it annadanam or any other offering to the temple or thing, it's been like given to other persons without uh, with the mindset of, with the intention of sacrifice. So that's the reason, like one at that knowledge level, people are engaged in that, and they are giving whatever they know about that. That is one kind of knowledge, or like one level of knowledge. So they are believing there is a god, and they want to offer things whatever they gain through their life or the efforts, and they follow the discipline, and they, so that's the reason they offer the material things to the god. What does mean offering senses is, so this is like, I would say one step little higher than the material offering, because uh, our, so all the five senses are been always it's running, and most of the time without this jnana, like it's towards outer materializing, and it's more and more of a selfishness. So once we like have that control of the senses, so that also is being offered, like we are not thinking of this body mind and pleasing this body mind. Instead we are uh, main practicing this body mind to like, or gradually switching the focus towards the inner self, that is consciousness. So even though there are urge or like some kind of force, or at least um, some senses is forcing us to do something, and but it would be like only selfishness, right? Those things are controlled, and that senses are being controlled through the mind, and it is being redirected to do follow yagnatva. So that's what I mean offering senses. Prana, and what is mind? How does it offer to prana? What does it mean to offer prana mind? Prana is the shakti, or the energy which we have, even with the water, or the, it's a life energy. I would put it in a word, life energy. What is mind is like, it's a intellect, the impressions what we have in that mind, right? So offering those things means, again it is similar, like though we have the impression, we have urge to do things, and still we offer that, being patient and having a one step or taking some time, or that's my personal interpretation, taking one few minutes to think before even acting, and not being fully controlled by this mind and with the impressions, even though those are repeatedly coming up, but still we are thinking one step before acting, and that's what it's offering prana and mind as well. What are the kinds of offering? How do they differ? What is superior? So offering is again what we discuss is through material, whatever in the above questions, through the material thing, and also through controlling our senses, and like the intellect and mind being controlled. Those are things. Superior is a knowledge. So knowledge and ability to act, or the way you respond in such that like it is being selfless action or an yagna bhava, and that way it will be in sync with the nature or the celestial god. So the superior is, I would say, the knowledge of having this knowledge, and performing according to that is the superior. Eightfold paths. What are the different paths for enlightenment? How can I offer myself? So all these things, eight folds. I don't remember the exact eight numbers. I mean eight things, but different paths for enlightenment is karma yoga, and being like performing. I mean performing actions, and karma yoga, and like performing meditations. Those are the different paths. how can I offer myself? How can I offer myself is being in, uh, still the mind gets attracted towards a thing, but over the practice, what I mean by that is like ability to disengage what is the thought, and whether that thought is leading to an action, and what is that action is going to get us. So focus is on to what is the intention behind that thought, and also what is the consequence of that thought. Thinking about these two things, we have to perform any action, whether to say something in this particular moment or to perform particular action. If I perform, what is the result? And if that result is like, is it only pleasing me or this body, or is it pleasing, and it is like at that particular, in that particular situation, am I, how do I feel if the same thing is offered to me or same thing is done to me? So having this analysis, having the right intention, and understanding about the consequence, though it is not in our control, at least the target, we should have the consequence. What should be the target? I mean, what will be the consequence of performing this action? And that should be in line with the yagnatva. So that way we are like, though there is impressions which is leading, and through that, like I am like fully controlled, and I am not really attached whether if it is like happening the way what I wanted or not. So I've been like with that unanimous, stable mindset, and not attached to the result, and being in that state and performing all, having all performing all action with this jnana, is that way I can offer myself, I would so that's how I'm seeing all these things, Rich.
Wonderful, Krishnaji. One simple
Yeah.
question. So, according to you, in a single sentence, what is offering or what is yagna?
Yagna is, which is, the intention should be right, which is not selfish, but to, which is towards a yagna is like a offering which is benefit for others, and the uh, others, I mean, it be material, I mean animals and other living beings, or for the human beings also.
Okay, wonderful.
And without having that also, yagna is like, it's just an addition to yagna, like, not having that doership. I'm only doing this, it's all, I'm being instrument through this path. So realizing that and performing yagnatva is what I like, I'm seeing as an offer myself.
Hmm. Anything more you would like to add?
No, that's all. I think I covered all the things. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishnaji. Smitaji, would you like to share your views?
I would like to first summarize,
Sure.
then uh, because Krishna ji has actually quite well explained each question. My understanding is from all of this, there are different ways that Shri Krishna himself has given for a person who is absorbed in this world and is associated with all the daily activities that and are is so involved in our mind and body complex situation. The God himself has suggested different ways and means to attain uh, the to realize uh, realize him. And even within the say within the framework of the working world, uh, there are different ways that uh, each loka explains how you can come closer to me, right? Be it material sacrifice, be it by offering, or by offering senses mean when we say offering senses or the hearing, by hearing good things, by listening to good things, by reading good knowledge, knowledgeable material, right? So from each or seeing, by viewing, by each sense organ, using the sense organ that I have given you, use that for good purpose, use it well. Even a simple activity like that is bringing you closer to me. It may not be giving salvation completely, it may not be this, but it is bring every step. It is like a step by step guide to bring you to closer to me in every activity that you do. Even material offerings, I myself was in doubt as to why material offerings should please God. But that is also a way of giving up something that you love, giving, going. So every step of uh, of our life that we are leading, in every activity that we perform, if it can be done as a sacrifice, it is done as an offering to the Lord himself, that is where leads to enlightenment. And that is why there is no one path of do the right way, your way is is the right way, your way or my way. It's not like that. There is no, our the scripture is telling so clearly that you have different ways to come to me. I don't limit anybody who has who has sinned in the past still has you can sit in the boat of knowledge and come towards me. So it is, there is no uh, permanent damage done, and there is always a way to come to the Lord. That's what I wanted to summarize this as.
According to you, what is the main purpose of yajna or offering?
The main purpose of firstly, man, like Sri Krishna says in the previous shloka, right? Even though I don't need to do anything, I still, to make the world function, I need to keep performing, right? So the main purpose is, firstly, person should be engaged in activity uh, towards uh, in this world. Now, to remain engaged rather than doing uh, doing every activity as a offering. That is what is the right way of engaging. A teacher is engaging with the or rather imparting knowledge with the, as a sacrifice of giving knowledge. A student is sacrificing um, or the hearing, meaning focusing on the good things to listen, to the right things to listen, the right ways to write, the right way to impart knowledge, right way to receive knowledge. So every activity is treated as an offering.
So the main purpose is
To continue to every, its main purpose is to come to towards enlightenment, more towards that.
towards that. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Smitaji.
Thank you.
Padma Amma.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಸಕಲ ಒಂದು ಜೀವಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಒಂದು ಸಸ್ಯ, ಪ್ರಾಣಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಹ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರನೇ ಇದೆ. ಅವುಗಳೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ತಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತವೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಸಸ್ಯವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಒಂದು ಬೀಜದಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸಸ್ಯ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದು ಮರ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಮರ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಹಣ್ಣುಗಳನ್ನ, ಫಲವನ್ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಅದು ತಾನು ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಫಲವನ್ನ ಬೇರೆಯವಕ್ಕೆ, ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಪಕ್ಷಿಗಳು, ಮನುಷ್ಯ, ಹೀಗೆ ಇತರರಿಗೆ ಹಂಚಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಕೊಡುವುದೇ ಅದರ ಗುಣ. ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹಾಗೆ ಕೊಡುವುದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಅನಂತವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಅನಂತವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕೊಡುವ ಗುಣ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಾನು ಅನಂತ ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಆ ಸಸ್ಯಕ್ಕೂ ಗೊತ್ತು, ಇತರೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥದಿಂದ ಲೇಪಿತವಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ತನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನೇ ಮರ್ತು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಅಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮದ ಸೋಂಕು ತಾಕದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಕೊಡುವನಾಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅವನು ಕೊಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳಾಗಿದ್ದವರು ನಾನು ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಮಾಡುವ ಕರ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ನನ್ನ ದೇಹ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರೋದು, ಕರ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕರ್ಮವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆಯನ್ನ ಅವರು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡುವ ಕೆಲಸ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಯಜ್ಞವೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವರು ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ, ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮುಡ್ತಾರೋ, ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೋ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಅವರು ಊಟ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸಹ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಸಹ ಅವರು ಯಜ್ಞ, ದೇವರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದೇವರಲ್ಲ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿದು ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಇಡೋಣ. ಇವಾಗ ಕರ್ತೃಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹವರು ಈ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಅನಂತವಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ನಾನು ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಭೋಕ್ತತ್ವವನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬಂಧನಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಅವರು ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಈ ಮರ ಹೇಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದು ತಾನು ಅನಂತವಾಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಾನು ಅನಂತವಾಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸಹ ನಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ? ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದೇವತೆಗಳಿಂದ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇವೆಲ್ಲನೂ, ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಅವನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ದೇವತೆಗಳು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಈ ಒಂದು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಮ ಅನ್ನೋದಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳೇನೆ ದೇವತೆಗಳು. ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿಗಳು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವುಗಳ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನ ನಡ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತವೆ. ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಅಡೆತಡೆಗಳನ್ನ ಒಡ್ತಾನೆ ಯಾವಾಗ? ಅಜ್ಞಾನದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬರ್ತಾ 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 ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಈ ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಗೆ, ಈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಗೆ ನಿಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ನಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೋ ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದಲೇ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಹ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆಗ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಶಕ್ತಿನೇ ದೇವತೆಗಳು. ಆ ದೇವತೆಗಳಿಗೆ ದ್ರವ್ಯದ ಮೂಲಕ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಅನೇಕ ರೀತಿಯ ಅರ್ಪಣೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ ಅರ್ಪಣೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಏನಿದೆ, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಪಂಚೇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಂಯಮದಿಂದ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೆ ಅದು ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ವಿಷಯ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪಂಚೇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕಿವಿ, ಚರ್ಮ, ಕಣ್ಣು, ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂಗು. ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಸಂಯಮದಿಂದ ಅವುಗಳು ತಾನೇ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಗ್ರಹಿಸಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರೋದು, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಸಂಯಮ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಆದ್ರೆ ವಿಷಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಷಯವಾಗಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಶಬ್ದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಪರ್ಶ, ರೂಪ, ರಸಗಂಧಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 5 ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಮ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ವಿಷಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇಳಿರೋದು. ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಾಣಗಳನ್ನು ಆತ್ಮನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಆತ್ಮ ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಈ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಕರ್ಮ, ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಎರಡು ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವು ಎರಡನ್ನು ಆತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಆತ್ಮ ಸಂಯಮ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ದ್ರವ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪಂಚಯಜ್ಞಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಹೇಗೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಭೂತಯಜ್ಞ, ದೇವಯಜ್ಞ, ಪಿತೃಯಜ್ಞ, ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಹೀಗೆ ದ್ರವ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು, ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನ ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ ಭಗವಂತ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಸೇರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆ ಅವನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ತಾನು ಯಾವುದು ಅಮೂಲ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾನೋ, ತಾನು ಗಳಿಸಿದ್ದು ಏನಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೊಡುವುದರಿಂದ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯಜ್ಞವನ್ನ ಅವನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ತಪಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವರು. ತಪಸ್ಸು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಡುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಏನ್ ಸುಟ್ಟು ಹಾಕೋದು? ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಮ ಕ್ರೋಧಾದಿಗಳು, ಅರಿಷಡ್ವರ್ಗಗಳನ್ನ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ನನ್ನದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಬಿಡೋದೆ ಇದು ತಪಸ್ಸು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಯೋಗವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದು ಸಹ ಯಜ್ಞವೇ. ಆ ಯಜ್ಞದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರಾಣಾಯಾಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಒಳಗಡೆ ಉಸಿರನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಾನ ವಾಯುವಿನ ಜೊತೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಪಾನ ವಾಯುವಿನ ಜೊತೆ ಹೊಂದಿಸಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಪಾನ ವಾಯುವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಣವಾಯುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಜ್ಞ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೂರಕ, ಕುಂಭಕ, ಮತ್ತೆ ರೇಚಕ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಿಡುವಂತಹ ಉಸಿರು. ಕುಂಭಕ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ತಗೊಂಡಂತಹ ಉಸಿರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನಾವು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಉಸಿರು ಎರಡನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಹಿಡಿದಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಒಳಗಡೆನೆ, ಅದು ಕುಂಭಕ. ಇದು ಯಜ್ಞವೇನೆ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಜ್ಞಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ನಾನು ಕರ್ತೃ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಲಯವಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಶುದ್ಧವಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸಹ ಸಹಾಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಶುದ್ಧವಾದಾಗ ಅವನು ಗುರುವನ್ನ ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಶುದ್ಧವಾಯ್ತೋ ಆಗ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ಗುರುವನ್ನ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ ಗುರುವನ್ನ ಗುರುತಿಸಿ ಆ ಗುರುಗಳ ವಾಕ್ಯ ಮತ್ತೆ ವೇದವಾಕ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯಿಂದ, ಭಕ್ತಿಯಿಂದ ತಾನು ಶರಣಾಗಿ ಆತ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಅಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದು ಜ್ಞಾನಯಜ್ಞ. ಜ್ಞಾನಯಜ್ಞದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಜ್ಞಾನವೇ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯೋದೇ ಜ್ಞಾನಯಜ್ಞ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಕೊಡೋದು? ಅದು ಯಜ್ಞವಾಗಿ ಹೇಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಅನ್ನುವುದು ಯಜ್ಞವಾಗಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನನ್ನ ಅಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ಯಜ್ಞವಾಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದು ನನ್ನನ್ನ ನಾನು ಅರ್ಪಣೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇಷ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ. ಮುಂದಿನ ಭಾಗವನ್ನ ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪುಗಳಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸಹ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಅಮ್ಮ. ಮೊಟ್ಟ ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ, ಟು ಬಿಗಿನ್ ವಿತ್, ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್? ಟು ಹೂ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಇಸ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್? ಟು someone called Arjuna. Who is Arjuna? Arjuna is someone who is depressed, anxious, worried, tense, because he is about to fight a war. And he is about to get into a war where he may get killed he may have to kill his own relatives and friends. So this entire setup is making him feel very, very anxious, very, very tense. And that is why, right in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, he expresses how he feels through various physical and psychological symptoms. When we look at those symptoms of Arjuna, and when we look at the anxiety and the stress and other expressions that he is using, you and I can also easily relate to that Arjuna. When you and I are living life, various situations come. It may not be a battlefield, but in those situations, similar kind of physical and psychological symptoms appear. The situation could be varied depending upon the different kind of life circumstances that you are in. Situations could be varied. It could be loss of a dear one. It could be loss of money in business. It could be some kind of a stressful situation in your professional environment. It could be something happening with your children or your husband or wife. So when you look at life, so many situations which are similar in a way to what that Arjuna had to face is what you and I also have to face. It is not a direct hand-to-hand combat where somebody will be taking a knife and killing you. That's a very direct, it's very visible. But the situations of life are having a similar impact. They're causing lot of stress, lot of tension, lot of worry, lot of anxiety. What will happen? Why did it happen like this? So all these kinds of situations are causing all these kinds of symptoms. So in a way, you and I can say that your life or my life is no different from that Arjuna's life. This is the context, this is the setup. And this is where Krishna is teaching. And instead of telling you and me, it's okay, it's all right, learn how to manage the stress, what is the approach Sri Krishna is taking throughout Bhagavad Gita? Is to remove what is called as root cause. In life, when you and I have some situation, let's say there is some kind of a parthenium that keeps growing in your field. You and I want to remove the parthenium. If you keep cutting the plant, another parthenium comes because the seed is still there. So the right way to remove parthenium from my field would be, first of all, to remove the plants, of course, also to make sure that no seeds remain and they are completely eradicated. That is the only way that parthenium would not occur. Otherwise, as long as that seed is there, it will again sprout. So therefore, the important approach in life is to understand the nature of any particular situation and to look at how to, if I want a change in that situation, what is the root cause of that situation? I need to address the root cause. Once when I address the root cause, then of course the symptoms will go away. Rather than attacking the symptoms, which is like, okay, how do I handle stress? How do I handle anxiety? How do I handle um, uh, physical ailment? All these are symptoms. The root cause is somewhere else. So when you and I address the root cause, symptoms naturally go away. That is a fundamental approach that Sri Krishna has taken throughout Bhagavad Gita. Rather than addressing the symptoms and giving symptomatic treatment, he is giving you and me the root cause treatment. He is helping you and me understand and appreciate the root cause and thereby remove the root cause. Only through proper understanding of the root cause can you and I remove? You and I can keep cutting the Parthenium plant at the surface. However, as long as I do not understand that it is the seed of the Parthenium that helps the Parthenium to sprout again, I will be only doing that work, but not really eradicating the Parthenium, isn't it? So to eradicate Parthenium, I need to realize the connection between the plant and the seed. And I need to know how to get it out of my field in all forms of seed. That is what will help you and me to remove that Parthenium. Likewise, the Parthenium that grows in our mind field, called as stress, anxiety, worry, tension, all kinds of psychosomatic diseases, blood pressure, cancer, heart attack, sugar complaint, whatever you may look at in life as disease, which is not necessarily caused by an accident or by a germ, which are termed as the psychosomatic diseases. All are like the Parthenium growing in this mind field. And what is the root cause of all this is what needs to be removed. Then only you and I can have a happy, healthy, peaceful, energetic, joyful, wonderful life. Because that is why you and I are learning Bhagavad Gita. In other words, you and I have to transform from being a worm to a butterfly. That is what you and I want. We want to be a butterfly and fly away and fly and have a beautiful and wonderful life. But have also a feeling that I'm a worm. Then the metamorphosis has to happen, isn't it? What is the way for this metamorphosis? Is the clarity of what is the root cause of why I am a worm and what is the process through which I can transform into a butterfly. That is where Sri Krishna has taken a root cause treatment approach right from his beginning of teaching. First and foremost, he has taught you and me is you and I have a lack of clarity about who I am. Sri Krishna says, Arjuna, you are having all this because you have a wrong identification. First of all, clarify your identification. You are identified with your body, with various kinds of ideas that you are carrying in your mind. And these identifications are causing you to get attached to something and hate something. Raga, dvesha. So the raga, dvesha. I want something, I'm attached to something, I like something. Dvesha. I don't want something, I'm against something. Raga, dvesha. Which is causing the feeling of duality. There is that thing and this thing. I like this thing, I don't like this thing. I am there, you are there. I am there and the world is there. I am separate from you. You are separate from that. All this is stemming from the fundamental ignorance of identification with something and not identifying with something else. So this is a fundamental starting point of the suffering in life, identification. So then Sri Krishna goes on to show how to act in the world. One is identification, another one is how to do anything in life, how to participate in the process called life. So when I'm identified as something, the way I participate in life is as that thing. When I identify myself as, say, mother, father, boss, or Indian, Kannadiga, or good, bad, or intelligent, dumb, whatever the way I identify myself as, whenever I participate in any process of life, what is process of life? Various situations which happen from day beginning to day end. From morning till night, it is nothing but series of situations. And in each series of situation, you and I are participating with certain role in different situations. In one situation, you may be the boss. In another situation, you may be the employee. In one situation, you may be the customer. In another situation, you may be the seller. In one situation, you may be the mother. In another situation, you may be the daughter. So like that, life is a series of situations, and in each situation, you have to play a different role. And when playing a different role, you have to perform some actions. And with what identification you and I are performing the action makes all the difference. When a situation like Arjuna is facing, why is he anxious in the first place? He is identified as Arjuna. Who's Arjuna? That body. And Arjuna, the warrior. Where is warrior? In the mind. And who is Bhishma to that Arjuna? Bhishma is the great grandfather to that Arjuna, the warrior. So therefore, there is a relationship that has got established. Why? Because there is this Arjuna who is separate from that Bhishma. Because of that separation, now there is a transaction called war that is going to happen. I am going to throw some arrows and he's going to throw some arrows. My arrows may kill my great grandfather. So there is a anxiety. Or my great grandfather's arrow may kill me. There is anxiety. So what is the root cause of this anxiety? Arjuna is identified with his form of the body and with this form of the warrior in the mind. So he's also now torn. As this warrior, is this the right war that I should be waging? Oh, I'm going to be fighting against my great grandfather. Is this the right war? Is this the right action? So fundamentally, what it means, a wrong identification causes all kinds of confusion in how I should perform various actions. In life, you and I know very well that you and I cannot sit idle. You are impelled to act. You are impelled to act by various physical requirements to various psychological requirements. You're impelled to act. There is no way anyone can sit idle. So action is no way to escape, but how do you and I perform action? When you and I perform action, there's a consequence of the action. That is what causes all kinds of stress in life. Identification is one source of stress. Then action. How do I perform action? That also causes another stress. So here Sri Krishna, by showing how existence functions, how divine functions, or how nature functions, is helping to remove the confusion about how to function in life. What is the way divine functions? Or what is the way the existence is functioning? Or what is the way the nature is functioning? Just let us take a look at it in a very simple way. The sun is shining, and that light energy is what is grasped and transformed by various plant forms, and they produce the various kinds of fruits, and those are eaten by various animals, and those animals in turn become the ahara or the food for other animals. And when an animal perishes, it again becomes the food for the mother earth to digest into its elemental form. And from there again springs another life form called plant. So when you notice this, there is a kind of a cycle. And in this cycle, every element in the cycle is equally important, is equally valuable. And the way each element in the cycle is performing is a sun is shining, and that's all it is. It's his nature to shine. There is nothing else beyond that. When the sun is shining, he's not coming and asking you, I gave you these many tons of energy. Now, what are you going to give back to me? When the plant is growing, it is simply growing and offering the fruit, never coming back and asking you and me, you ate so many fruits, what did you do with them? What did you do for me? So, when you look at the way nature, except the human, except the man, rest of the various forms in nature, in a way, really know and are really divine. They have become part of the divine. There is no resistance when an animal, even an animal is getting killed by another animal, it may run to escape. But when you notice in the final moments of its death, it simply gives in, becomes the ahara, becomes the food. In fact, the very word mamsa means that only. Mamsaha. Mamsaha. I also offer myself like this only. So, in a way, the entire nature is giving you and me the message, to you and me, the man, the human, the arjuna, the one who feels I'm separate, the message that look, I'm offering this to you. That's all it is. When the fruit comes to you, it is not resisting. It is so much willing to be part of you, so much wanting to be part of you. At the end of the day, your nose, eyes, limbs, various organs are nothing but various food that you have consumed. The air is willing to be part of you. The water is willing to be part of you. Everything in the existence is simply willing to be part of everything else. No resistance. Simply to give in. Only through that giving in, the worm can become the butterfly. Please notice, the worm cannot become the butterfly if it keeps on resisting and thinks, what will happen to me if I give in to this metamorphosis? The nature of nature is to evolve that worm into a butterfly. That's in the very nature of nature. It always is there to create the next most beautiful form out of that previous form. There is never ever any lesser form. Butterfly is far more uh, beautiful, has more degrees of freedom. As a worm, it could only crawl. As a butterfly, it can crawl if it wants to, but it can actually fly if it wants to. So, in a way, when you look at it from a physical plane of existence, it's a higher degree of freedom. It is now able to be on the land, be in the air. It is now able to move freely, lot more lighter. So, in a way, it has evolved towards a next higher form. Likewise, when you and I learn to give, learn to offer, the Arjunatva in you and me, you know who I am, you know how good I am, you know how bad I am, you know who I am, whatever that who I am, that feeling of that wrong who I am, wrong identification, because the fundamental source of all the problem is wrong identification. And also because of the wrong identification, there is a wrong action, the way I perform action. So in a way, they're interconnected. One is feeding the other. Wrong identification leads to wrong action leads to further wrong identification. So now how do you come out of this cycle? The truth is simple, my wrong identification. But to get established in that truth that I am not any of this. First and foremost, because I'm caught up in the cycle of action and reaction, I first of all have to evolve out of that. And that is the fundamental secret Sri Krishna is teaching through Yagna Bhava. Yagna, offer. Look at the whole nature, Arjuna. Whole nature is in Yagna. Everything is supporting everything else. Not necessarily saying, oh, I am supporting, but simply by its own very nature. Sun is supporting the whole life form on this earth. The plant is supporting all the other forms on this earth. So likewise, when you start noticing everything else is supporting everything else, only the human mind, because of its wrong identification with its own inner wrong thinking, based on that, gets identified as I am this, I am that. Therefore, a human is not participating in the yagna. And by not participating in the yagna, that human is suffering. So, to remove the suffering, first and foremost, know the nature of yagna. Yagna means to offer. To offer means the yagna bhava. In a fire, you put something, there is nothing more that can come out of that the moment you have given that thing. However, there are grades in this yagna. That is what Sri Krishna is helping you and me understand. There is dravya yagna. It is like I offer some material in want of some material. So nothing wrong in need, because life requires things. Nothing wrong. But when that becomes the predominant reason for yagna, it still doesn't help one evolve to one's own highest potential. It is like you have a, let's say, airplane, but let's assume you don't realize that airplane. You continue to tie it to a bullock cart and continue to go on the road by being pulled by two bullocks. That it can work like that, but you've not yet started using it as an airplane. So in a way you are misusing, in a way you are underutilizing, in a way you are not realizing the full potential. So therefore Sri Krishna takes us from the dravya bhava, which is a very gross form of, okay, I'm giving this, I want this. I gave you money, you give me shirt. I gave you gold, you give me house. So there is a exchange. It's a dravya. It's a gross form of exchange of energy. From there, Sri Krishna takes us to slightly subtler. When you notice prana or movement of prana shakti, prana cannot be seen, but prana can be felt. So it is slightly a subtle way of looking at life. Dravya is a gross way of looking at life. This prana now is a subtler way of looking at life. So exchange of prana. Notice the exchange of prana. The prana from the plant is coming into you. The prana from you is again going back into the existence. So life is a continuous movement of prana, continuous movement of life energy. So this requires a slightly subtler way of looking at life and participating in that subtler yagna. So dravya yagna is a gross yagna. Prana yagna is a subtler yagna. Then Sri Krishna takes you and me to even more subtler levels of yagna, which is happening in the manas. So at the end of the day, all this, whatever you and I are doing, is culminating. So through the senses, as a movement of prana comes into the mind, as sensation and culminates there. Culminates as understanding, as awareness. So before that, it is appearing in the space called mana, or the mind space, as various kinds of thoughts. And depending upon the kinds of the impressions that I'm carrying, the thoughts that I'm carrying, me and mine, these thoughts is what I manipulate. So therefore, by participating in the yagna bhava, the me thought that comes and asks the question, is this beneficial to me? Keep it aside. Keep aside the question, is it beneficial to me? But ask the question, has it been beneficial to someone else? So this mind, because it is so trained to be me, so from the me turning into that we is what yagna bhava in the mind spaces. So ask the question, has it been beneficial to another being? Has it really been of value to someone else? Doesn't matter whether they come back and tell me or not. Has it really been beneficial? Is whatever I'm offering really the most valuable thing that I can offer at this point of time? And would it really have a value to the other one? So as one cultivates that in the subtler realm called mana, the deeper impressions about me start fading away, start getting reduced. Because at the end of the day, the thoughts that appear in the mind space are grasped by this me thought and said, this thought is mine, this thought is not mine. That's all what is happening at the most subtler level. So that grasp of the me thought has to be loosened up. And to loosen that up, the yagna bhava, offer. And as that is done, the clutch of the me thoughts start becoming loose. And then the identification problem can be seen. Because till then, the identification problem continues to linger. Though the root cause is simple, the treatment for the root cause is simple. Give up the notion of who you think you are. Realize your true nature. That's all it is. But to give that up in the mind, depending upon the impressions, all these thoughts play. So one has to train the mind through, it's a continuous process. Whenever that I thought, is it beneficial to me? Replace that with the yagna bhava. What am I offering in the situation? What am I offering that is of value to another being? And am I offering to someone who may not even be able to come and thank me? So sun is shining. You and I will never ever be able to travel to sun and say, thank you, sun. So in a way, he's the epitome of that, what you and I can call as the most selfless offering. Nobody knows how to go to that person called sun, but all of us are getting benefited. So am I living life in that way? So as I cultivate that, the arjuna in me, the ego consciousness in me, the ego consciousness about who I think I am, that starts loosening up. So that is the fundamental yagna. That is the fundamental offering. I have to offer my own ignorance. I have to give to grow. I have to give this small identity to grow into this infiniteness that you truly are, that I truly am. So Sri Krishna, by showing us how existence functions, is helping you and me to function in life. So to function in life in freedom is yajna. Yajna is to function in life without any kind of attention or worry. Yajna is to function in life, to fly like that butterfly. Because when there is no expectation but full participation, it is the ultimate freedom. Kayakave kailasa. Work is worship. Give to grow. Hari Om.
ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಇದು ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿ ಬಂತು.
ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಮ್ಮ. Any other questions or any other statements? Krishna ji, Smita ji?
No.
It was very enlightening, actually. Especially the butterfly, the caterpillar to butterfly example. Very apt. Thank you.
Thank you, ji. Then let us conclude our contemplation on this topic. Hari Om.